In March of this year, Amazon had two major outages within 3 days. The second one wiped out 6.3 million orders in 6 hours. Both incidents were traced back to AI-assisted code changes that were deployed to production without any proper human approval. And Amazon's response, a 90-day safety reset across 335 critical systems. And also a new rule. Every AI-assisted code change now requires senior engineer approval before it goes anywhere near production. So what does that mean for cloud careers right now? Is AI making them more valuable or more replaceable? And with all of the layoffs happening in tech right now, how should you be preparing for what's coming? I'm Suleiman. I've been in tech for more than 11 years. I run my own businesses across cloud and AI consulting, my software company studytech.ai, and my academy where I've helped more than 900 IT professionals, engineers, and career switchers master cloud engineering and land six-figure roles, including at companies like AWS and Microsoft. Now, in this video, I'm breaking down how AI is changing cloud careers right now. We'll look at where the hundreds of billions of dollars in AI spending is actually going, why companies are rebuilding their entire cloud infrastructure, what the Amazon outage tells us about where AI actually falls short, and exactly how you can prepare for the shift to stay ahead of the curve. Let's start with what everyone is getting wrong. Most people are framing this as AI versus cloud engineers. And that framing is the wrong way to look at it. Right now, big tech is spending over $700 billion on AI and cloud infrastructure. They're spending it on data centers, servers, storage, power, infrastructure. They are building the physical and digital infrastructure that AI lives on and runs on. Every AI application in production right now is running on cloud infrastructure. For example, Cursor, the famous AI-powered IDE, runs on AWS Cloud. Anthropic, the creators of Claude, their critical infrastructure is also running on AWS Cloud. So the point is that there is no AI without cloud. Every company building AI products is deploying them on cloud platforms. Therefore, this spending creates an unprecedented demand for cloud engineers. But that is still the surface level. The real question is how the actual role is changing. And for you to understand what's shifting, you have to know what's different about AI as a workload. Because up until now, the applications that we've been building worked in a very predictable way. A user makes a request, the application processes it using a fixed set of instructions, and then it returns a result. So same input, same output every single time. In tech, we call this deterministic workloads. The outcome is determined before it even happens because the logic that we built in our code. AI, on the other hand, works completely differently. When you ask ChatGPT a question, it doesn't look up for a stored answer. It takes your input, it processes it through patterns that it's learned from enormous amounts of data, and then it generates a response based on probability. And you could ask it the same exact question twice, and you'll get a slightly different answer each time. It's making predictions. In tech, we call this probabilistic. The outcome is based on probability. Now, why does any of this matter for cloud careers? Because the cloud infrastructure underneath these two types of applications and workloads has to be built completely differently. With a traditional application, let's say it's Black Friday, and suddenly 10 times more users are hitting your website at the exact same time. The processors on your servers will start working harder to keep up with all of those requests. So you scale up. You add more servers to spread the load. It's pretty straightforward. With AI workloads, the processor isn't your main bottleneck anymore. The heavy lifting is being done by specialized hardware called GPUs. And you're scaling based on things like GPU capacity, how much more GPU memory is being used, and something called queue depth, which is how many requests are sitting in line waiting to be processed by the model. Completely different scaling logic that you need to understand and configure. With traditional applications, your containers might be 100 megabytes. With AI workloads, the model files alone can be tens of gigabytes, sometimes 100 gigabytes or more. So how you store them, move them around your network, deploy them, all of those things have to change. With traditional deployments, you roll out a new version and you're checking for error rates. If errors spike, you roll it back. With AI model deployments, the service can be completely healthy, zero errors, everything running fine, but the model's output quality has degraded. So it's now giving worse answers than the previous version. So your infrastructure needs to monitor things like the output quality and model drift, not just whether the service is up or down. That's a fundamentally different type of monitoring that most cloud setups aren't built for yet. The tools that you already use as a cloud engineer, Kubernetes, Terraform, CI/CD pipelines, monitoring, they're all still the foundation. But the actual workload sitting on top of them has changed. And when the workload changes, how you configure, scale, deploy, architect, monitor, right? That infrastructure has to evolve with it. And by the way, if you want my help to land a six-figure cloud role, then just check the link in the description below and book a call with my team. We are busier than ever right now because we are pumping out results virtually every single week. Cosmin just got hired as a cloud engineer after 6 weeks with us. Mac went from IT help desk to systems engineer at AWS. Rob went from tech support to cloud infrastructure engineer in just 7 weeks and got a second offer at IBM. Salim just landed a cloud security engineer at American Express, making multiple six figures. We've got Silas, Jay, Tomislav, Alex, Letitia, Dominic, Coyote, Blake, the list goes on. So if you're serious about landing a six-figure cloud role in 2026, links in the description below to book a call with my team. Now, over the last few weeks, multiple engineering publications have all been writing about a new problem emerging in the industry. Most companies built their cloud infrastructure over the last 5 to 10 years for exactly the type of traditional workload that we've just described. And now, those same companies are trying to deploy AI into their existing cloud environments, and they're discovering that their bills have doubled while the AI is still too slow to be usable. Engineering teams are retrofitting infrastructure at significant cost and discovering that what they've built over the last decade fundamentally doesn't support the workload that they're now trying to run. So what happens? Well, they need someone to come in that will assess their entire cloud infrastructure and redesign it for AI workloads. And this isn't a one-time project. As AI workloads evolve and technologies improve, and we really bring in agentic AI, the infrastructure underneath has to keep evolving with it. And AI is evolving faster than anyone can even keep up with. And then this brings us to where the real opportunity sits. There's a new type of role showing up across the entire market right now. I would say that the title hasn't been fully settled yet, but when you're job hunting, you'll see it called AI infrastructure engineer, AI cloud engineer, AI architect, right? Different names. Fundamentally, it's the same core job. It's someone who takes their existing cloud engineering skills and layers on an understanding of what AI workloads are and how they behave in production. Practically, this means getting very comfortable with GPU infrastructure, what different GPU types are, how models get loaded into GPU memory, and why that matters for cost and performance. It also means understanding model serving, which is how you take a trained AI model and make it available as a service that other applications can call against. Same concept as deploying any other application, just a different artifact. It means understanding MLOps, which is really just DevOps, but for AI models. You're still building and deploying pipelines, but the thing being deployed is an AI model instead of traditional application. And with these skills, companies are paying a significant premium for cloud engineers who have this combination. Because right now, the number of people who genuinely understand both cloud infrastructure and AI infrastructure requirements is extremely small. I see this with the clients that we're working with in my consulting company. They are literally all scratching their heads on how they can go from a cloud workload to an AI workload, because it's a different problem that they need to solve. And it's a new era of modernization. So if there's this huge demand for cloud engineers, if hundreds of billions of dollars are being poured into infrastructure and companies are literally rebuilding their cloud infrastructure setups right now, then why are we also seeing these layoffs? Why are companies cutting engineering headcount and saying AI is doing the work? Well, here's what's actually going on. A lot of those teams were massively bloated coming out of the pandemic. Companies hired aggressively in 2021 and 2022 when money was very cheap and growth was everything. Now, they're just correcting for that. But that is not all. AI infrastructure is very expensive. GPUs are very expensive. The compute costs are enormous. And in many cases, the way companies are funding AI investment is actually by cutting headcount. The money has to come from somewhere. That doesn't mean AI is doing the work that those engineers were doing, right? There's a massive gap right now between what companies are promising that AI is capable of doing and what's actually happening inside of engineering teams right now. I know this because I'm working with these companies through my consulting company. The marketing says that AI can automate your entire infrastructure, but the reality is very different. Most teams are still experimenting. Most are using AI to help write code faster or generate templates, but nobody is letting AI manage production infrastructure on its own because it's way too risky. 81% of enterprise technology leaders are reporting production failures tied to AI-generated code. A separate study found that AI-generated code produces 1.7 times more bugs than human-written code. Production incidents are up 23% year over year. Now, You'll also hear people say, well, if AI can generate Terraform code, then anyone can be a cloud engineer. Just prompt it, get your infrastructure code, and deploy it. Done, right? But that's obviously not how it really works. Because when that generated code has a security hole, or it provisions the wrong instance types, or it misconfigures your networking and your entire environment is no longer communicating or is exposed, who gets to blame? It'll be you as a cloud engineer because you won't understand what's happening under the hood. You don't have the architecture thinking to know why one design works over another. So you can't just diminish the role into generating some code. That's only a small part of the actual role. And this is where something really important is happening to the role itself. AI will enable cloud engineers to focus less on scripting and more on system design and actually directing outcomes. It's called a shift up in responsibilities. The role is elevating. You're spending less time on repetitive execution and more time on systems thinking, architecture, design, strategy, and problem solving. Now look, everything that I've shown you in this video, the spending, the rebuild, the new roles, the shift up, none of it matters if you don't act because the opportunity is real, but it's not going to wait for you. And look, I know some of you watching this are going to close this video and just go back to whatever that you were doing before. And that is fine. But if you're sitting there right now and you know deep down that you're not where you want to be, that your career isn't moving the way that you want it to, then at some point, what you really want and desire has to match what you actually do on a day-to-day basis. We describe people by their actions, by what we can see. So would someone describe you as a cloud engineer right now? If not, why not? And look, I get it. AI is moving very fast and it feels overwhelming. There's a lot of uncertainty and it's natural to feel like the ground is shifting underneath you. But this level of fear only exists when you're standing still. The moment that you actually make a decision, start building real skills and put yourself out there, that anxiety starts to dissolve because now you're not wondering what's going to happen to you. You are actively taking control of your career, of your life, and shaping what happens next. So if you're not getting the results that you want, then how long are you going to wait before you make a decision to change? The decision is always going to be a hard one to make. Today, next week, next month, next year. And while you are waiting, the industry isn't waiting for you. Instead of waiting for things to magically fall into place, make the decision and go get what you want because nobody is coming to save you. As always, I'm rooting for you and become undeniable.